Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 Build a Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 101 and we start our run towards a double century today with two big domestic games. We face TNS, our closest rivals for the title normally, away in the League Cup semi-final. It's a competition we've often flattered to deceive in despite our enormous success elsewhere. So if we can get through that game, we should probably win the final. So I'd expect this to be the toughest challenge. And we then face Barrytown United, who started woefully this season. But they've brought in big players and they're starting to come to fruition. They're now just 2 points off Llandudno with a better goal difference. They're in exceptional form. And they've still got Josh Thomas, who we had here before. They've still got Harry Great. They've got a good manager. And they're also unbeaten in 9 with 5 wins on the bounce. So we know that's going to be a difficult game too. If you're looking forward to all of that and you are enjoying the series as we pass the 100 mark, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content from 2 long-term stories. My first ever video on the food channel was out yesterday. You can find a link to that anyway above, as well as all the other regular playlists. And next month, we're going to have loads of streams over on Twitch. The regular Football Manager ones, Euros watch-alongs, there's going to be loads to enjoy. So if you haven't already, please do go and follow me over there. There's a link to the channel in the description below. But let's go and talk about Bangor City, because as well as all of that stuff that's been happening, the transfer window's now open. So let's see what's been happening so far. The answer is not a lot, but what has happened is pretty big. So there's loads of offers coming in for players. You would expect that at this stage already. No offers for anyone to come in. However, we have made an addition of sorts. So if we look at the transfer history, you knew already about the fact that Scott Furlong was joining us on loan from Burnley. He's coming in and will be in the squad for the first time today. We also got Martin Pasiorek from Tbilisi. He's an under-19 in a squad this season, which really solves a problem for us. So he's going to be a regular off the bench in the league. You can see he's played in the first 2 games already. But more importantly than that, and I'll tell you why in a moment, we've signed Yesten Weaver on a permanent deal from Birmingham. So he was already on loan here. You might think, well, you've got him to the end of the season. Why would you spend 400 grand? There were a lot of clubs sniffing around him, so it takes away any worry of him being signed permanently elsewhere, his loan being cut short, any of the tactical stuff that goes with it, whatever else it may be. He is earning a decent wage, 4.5 grand a week, but left back and right back, they're positions that are harder to sign him, particularly on the left-hand side. So he gives us a solid player who's played loads of games for Wales under 21s and load a game for us. So he's going to be a good signing on that front. It also means we freed up a loan space. So despite the fact he's come in, we're now going to have 2 spaces in the squad. And next season, we won't need the left back on loan. So there are big positives moving forward. I did have a sneaky look at Greg Pringle, as I often do. I know a few of you are missing him, but he's still at Hull. He's still doing well. He had a shaky start, but he started scoring goals now. I wonder if he had an injury. Oh, he did. 3 weeks out injured there and 3 weeks out there. So that explains it. He's missed 6 weeks of the season, but when he has played, he's made a big difference for them. Nobody going out just yet, but they are the additions. Nothing unexpected. But that Yesten Weaver on a permanent could be a big thing for next season, because we can get 1 more star on loan. We're still keeping our eyes peeled on the likes of McDonald and Williams for potential loans in the future. Or in fact, Luke Williams is out of contract in the summer, but he doesn't yet want to discuss a deal. Whereas it was Kai McDonald, who is not yet available to offer a loan extension. Although he is today, they want to give him a chance in the first team. Let's just chance our arm and go for it anyway and see if they accept it. The worst they can say is no. So that's the position we're in now. We've extended Peter Holding's loan out till the end of the season, and everyone else is looking pretty good. So if we have a look at the squad, it's in good shape. The slight issue I have is that I've done what a few of you have advised. We've offered out loads of our young players and loads of our backup players on loan and on transfers to clubs domestically, but none of them have come in. And that's why we need TNS ideally as a professional club or a Barrytown to reach the group stages in Europe, because we need someone to move these players onto. Otherwise they just end up leaving Wales, and it's such a shame that many of these players who could offer a job for TNS aren't getting the opportunity to do so. So let's go and get into the first of today's 2 fixtures. It's going to be a good one for us, hopefully. We know we've got a decent youth intake to maybe look forward to, as we saw in the last episode. But TNS in a cup that we've often struggled in is likely to pose a formidable task. So this is the squad we've gone for. Only 5 subs, of course, and no requirement for under-19s. So we've gone as full strength as I think we can get away with. That means George Wickens in goal, McDonald and Weaver the fullbacks, with Price and Whittaker at centre-half. Weaver didn't play at the weekend, so this is his first start as a full player for us, a permanent signing. Lloyd is in the holding role with Malone, Broom and Jones making up the rest of the midfield diamond. Jones into double figures for the season now, Williams and Walters up front. And Kane Walters is the man who leads us onto our recent form quite nicely. Because he is now 4-star ability, which we thought might happen. He's improving off the pitch, and on it, he's becoming a bit of a superstar. You can see we've been in seamless form since we played the last episode. That's 6 wins out of 6 in the league, and lots of goals as well. A 5-0 win started against Aberystwyth. Kane Walters and Luke Williams both with a brace. Christopher Broom one in between. Against Swansea Uni, a 1-0 win. Ben Cottrell with the penalty for a very rotated side. A 3-0 win at home to TNS. Walters and Williams combining in the first half again. 3-1 at Llandudno. Dean, Jones and McDonald. 2 injuries up front there meant we had to rotate. A 3-0 win at home to Llandudno in a reverse fixture. Williams, Jones and Broom with the goals. And then 1-0 against Kefin Druids, Daniel Williams with that. And we survived after a Keegan Riley red card. So actually, we said Kane Walters might be a slightly poorer signing. We weren't sure if he'd come to fruition. He's starting to look good now. And don't forget, I know a couple of you mentioned it in the comments, but he is a new signing. And a bit like Greg Pringle, for the first 3 months, we thought he was useless. But then he turned up against Shakhtar and we went, wow, who on earth is this player? So Kane Walters is on the same path now. He's starting to catch Williams. He's at 19 goals at the halfway point. And if he can get to 35 or so, it's probably an excellent season for him. So that's the 11 we've gone for. The strikers finding form. Tom Jones in double figures behind them. It's all looking really good. But if there's any competition we'll slip up in, it's normally this one. The League Cup is a bit of a bogey competition, but we won it last year. We'll be trying to retain it this time. Well, an interesting team for TNS. They've actually signed Jake Vokins, who you might recognise. He played for the likes... Well, he came through at Southampton. He's played for a few EFL and National League clubs. But he's now there and has pushed Tom Clifford out the team. But the rest of it is a pretty strong squad. Dorian got sent off late on against us last time. But the likes of Noah Daly, Ollie Ewing, Will Russ up front, they're all ever-presents. But with our squad at our best, we should be winning. So let's prove a point, get into the first half, and see if we can do exactly that. A final would be a lovely way to start the year. Well, perhaps not quite what we were hoping for. We have dominated the stats in this first half. As we get a ball into the box, a very bizarre moment to see there. Ball in, flicked up and on, but nobody was really there for it, so I'm not sure why we saw it. So we've dominated the stats, but no highlights, no real clear-cut chances. But we are trying to work it down the right again here. Malone with the ball in. Oh, it was a lovely reverse pass. And I know we signed Furlong, and he's on the bench for the first time today. But Malone is coming into his own this season, and if he can sort out his attitude off the pitch, I'll be quite happy with him, and we'll keep him in there. As I'd like to sort the permanent players first. As Will Russ nearly nicks it, Price does well, McDonald finds Whittaker, and that's been the biggest change this year. Whittaker again proving the point. Stunning rating. He's really improved that defence, as has McDonald coming back in on the right. Weaver's now a permanent addition, we've not got to worry about the left. It's really just John Price who we can upgrade, and he's still our second biggest ever signing. But a really good side. We're still 0-0 at half-time. And we've got that defensive solidity now. We only conceded, 1 goal in those 6 games off camera. And we're not going to concede today. The problem is, we haven't looked too threatening at the other end. At half-time, it's 0-0. We've kicked some up the backside. And hopefully we'll get a big reaction. Well, actually, as we come towards the hour mark, this has been our worst performance in some time. Tom Jones has beaten to the slide tackle. McDonald gets there first, though. There's 3 in the middle. It's back to Jones. Into Walters. I tell you what, there's some times where I've criticised his finishes, but that was a great effort and it was a stunning save. The shots on target are starting to flow now though, and I feel like with the right couple of changes, we could probably go ahead and nick this. Broom's starting to look knackered, so what a time for a debut. Scott Furlong is on. Who have we got as a number 10? Nobody really. So I'm going to replace Malone with Williams as well. Weaver's had a pretty average game at left back. Ironic given the fact we've just signed him on a permanent. But Boys will come on the left-hand side for him. And now with 20 to go, he's taking a throw into Kane Walters. Up towards Williams, who flicks down. McDonald gets their right side of the box. Beats his man, he's brought down. And Vokins gives away the penalty. Luke Williams will step up and take it. Let's see what he does with it. I don't want to say what I'm thinking in my head. I'll wait till after the penalty to say it. As he steps up right-footed against Ronan Lufra. Oh, it's straight at him. Oh, he's got the rebound and he's hit the post. It's hit the defender on the clearance. I just assumed the rebound was going to go in. What I was thinking before the penalty was taken is that Luke Williams is the first reliable penalty taker we've had in a long time. As Daniel Williams puts the corner in, Walters header straight at the keeper. and Griffiths distributes quickly, but only as far as Morgan boys. It is relentless pressure this half. But I'll scratch my comments about the reliable penalty taker, and we might have to review that. As Williams gets in now, he's made amends very quickly. And I will say this for Daniel Williams, the sub-centre midfielder. Whenever we need to unlock a defence, whenever we need that man who can play that ridiculous pass, who can unlock the door, who can play someone in from a blind angle, Daniel Williams is still the man to do it. And we'll be keeping at this club for as long as he's got it. As he plays wide to McDonald again. Beats the press. It gets towards the byline. Can we get the ball in the box though? McDonald brought down. It's really easy for Antwi. And he clears long downfield. But there's no one there bar Whittaker. Jones gives it to Daniel Williams. Lays into Harvey Lloyd. Can he play Furlong in? He can. Furlong plays the safe pass. Maybe you'd expect that on debut. Wide to Morgan Boyce, the sub left back. Chance to cross but goes back to Lloyd. 30 yards out here. He goes short to Furlong. It's lovely pressure, but can we get the goal? We can't. Daniel Williams just unleashes. It's low, it's drilled, but it's just wide of the post. And now it's a Clifford corner, which Whittaker heads away again. He's been a man mountain back there. Wonderful centre-half play. Dorian picks it up on the left again, though. Forces it back to halfway. Walters has nicked it. This is where we need him at his best. Kane Walters in, and Kane Walters scores. 20th of the season, and he's starting to look a good signing. He pops up with those so much. He's got a great pressing mentality. He works hard. And he's electric quick. And it's going to be a great asset for us moving forward. I honestly believe he can become Greg Pringle if he wants to. As Dorian gets the ball on the left back to Clifford. Plays long across his own box, but Boyce gets there first to Price. Furlong picks it up at the tip of the centre circle. Gives it to Luke Williams. Plays a 1-2 with his namesake Daniel. Up towards Walters again. If the confidence wasn't flowing, it is now. Dinks it over the keeper. Delicious little chip. And it's 3-0. 2 for Walters. And I said he was starting to come to the party. I was not kidding. It's wide to Clark on the left. TNS trying to push for a goal. But I think we're going to win the League Cup. I can't imagine we face as good a rival in the final. We'll see who gets through. It could be the informed Barry side. It could be a couple of other high flyers. But it won't be a harder game than this, I don't think. As Vokins gives it back to Clifford. All the way to his keeper. No idea why we're seeing that. Actually, it's Griffiths in goal, our former youth player. It's not Ronan Lufra. Maybe that's why the penalty got saved. He knows us from training, and he was able to work out which way they were going. As Russ flicks on the long goal kick, there's nowhere to go. It's straight through to Wickens. I'm not quite sure why we're seeing this, but it's a lovely bit of play. Oh, that might be why. Oh, George Wickens, you lucky, lucky boy. Rolled it out for Price. It was well overthrown. And the striker's got an open goal and somehow misses. It hits the post and it's cleared behind for a corner. But George Wickens with a rare big error. He gets that corner away with a good punch though. He might have made amends. The danger's not over yet. We force them back to halfway and it peters out. George Wickens is fortunate. He's still got a rating above a 7 somehow. But it's been a great performance. 26 shots, 14 on target. We'd had 2 on target at half time. We've conceded one now to Alex Scott. Dorian assists it. But it's a consolation. We've done our job now. As the centre kick's taken, Williams finds Whittaker at the back. Long ball over to Walters. He's on the hat-trick, but he's just overhit. The clearance finds Luke Williams to Tom Jones. Great effort. Griffiths caught out. Does get enough on it in the end. And is tipped behind for a corner. It's turning into a very open game. I'm a bit upset we've conceded, but we'll take it. It's been a good result still. As Russ heads the ball away, Rutherford will get there. Let's not rule it out yet. We might concede a second here. Rutherford back to Clifford. Great switch of play to Scott. We've managed to get back comfortably. 15 shots on target. Our expected goals is above the 3 we scored. And it's a comprehensive win. We're through to the final. We missed a penalty, but it didn't matter. So that's for us to enjoy later in the month. For now, though, we've got informed Barry Town next. A big game at the top of the Welsh Premier League. And a win all but wraps up the title. I'll see you in a moment. Fitness test time ahead of the Barry Town United match. We won't be fooled by the fact they're 4th in the league. They are flying, as we've seen. The one thing I will say very quickly, off camera, is that we found out we're facing Aberystwyth in the final. Now, that's a good bit of news in the sense that we generally have a very, very good record against them. But the bad news is they beat Airbus, who we struggle with a bit, 4-0. So maybe it's a good thing in that we're going to get an easier game. The clash of styles is better for us. Or do we think Airbus are a side we struggle with? They've beaten them 4-0. We might be in trouble. We'll wait and see. It says John Price is fit after a slight injury knock. We've got warnings to close people down, including our former man Josh Thomas. He still looks a pretty good striker, to be fair. He's scored 9 in 18 now, and after building his fitness, He's starting to come to the party. So you can actually see why they're climbing the league. Josh Thomas is in form. They've still got Harry Gray, who is the best player in the league outside of us. Yes, technically he's not great, but he's brilliant everywhere else, and he's a good box-to-box midfielder. And Josh Jenkins is a good winger. He's got electric pace, and he's got decent stats everywhere else. So they are a good side. And on paper, I still think they're the second best side. They just haven't got the squad depth that TNS have got. So let's go and get through to our team selection. Everybody's fit, and nobody has more than a medium match load. So that side of it's fine. We've got to get the 2 under-19s on the bench, and then it's just whether we change anyone else. But I don't think we do. Maybe because Broom struggled with fitness a bit, I could give him a little rest and just take him out for a game. The same for Malone. So I tell you what, we'll take Broom out for one game for Furlong. Just give him a rest, a chance to recuperate, and we'll have him at his best for the cup final. But aside from that, the 11 is the same. Just Furlong in for his first start for the club. And Chris Broom gets a much-deserved rest after a very good half of the season. Into the game we go. It's Barrytown United away. Can we get ourselves on top? And can we all but wrap up the league title? And as I said with the squad depth, only 5 subs they're able to name today. And maybe that's the under-19 thing as well, I don't know. But Jenkins, Thomas, Bradley Gibbons and Harry Gray, all good players in attacking areas. Reece Heath, they signed from TNS. We know he's a good player. They've got a good goalkeeper. They're a solid side. Kieran Butler on the bench. He's a good striker as well. It's a good team. It's just whether they've got that depth. So let's tell the lads to prove a point. We did well against TNS, but it took a while to unlock the door. But this side is probably a better one on paper, just in terms of the 11. So let's see how it gets on. As Weaver throws in the pouring rain, plays a 1-2 with Harvey Lloyd in his own half, gives it away to Gibbons there, and they've got a chance high up the pitch here, Barry. They give it back to Williams, the right back. Gibbons to Heath. They've still got support in Harry Gray in the middle, but they're not really going anywhere here. We're forcing them back. Harry Gray picks it up to Gibbons. Can they get themselves in? They go long with Gray. Thomas is chasing it here. And Wickens comes out, slides at his feet to get there. And that's exactly what we want to see from the keeper. Nearly got a big howler in at the weekend, didn't he? Or in midweek, I should say. We managed to get away with it, and now he's back on form. I have got to watch for Josh Thomas, though. He's one of the best players we've seen in this league outside of us. And he's one of our former ones, isn't he? As Jenkins' cross goes out for a goal kick. The early pressure's from Barrytown, though. Certainly the early possession is. As we've got a throw on the left-hand side here with Yesden Weaver, just inside the opposition half, nearly 20 minutes on the clock. Plays a 1-2 with Walters, who picks it up again 30 yards out. Harvey Lloyd through to Weaver, goes all the way himself, he makes the run, and after a poor performance in his first game as a permanent addition, he's back on form in the second. Wonderful run and finish, he started the move and he ended it. And it's 1-0 to Bangor City against Barrytown United. As Dackers plays it to Jenkins on the left for Barry. Thomas chases, but again, it's all the way through to George Wickens. And this time, he's a bit more assured in his distribution to Price. Lloyd gets it wide to Weaver on the left. Over the top to Walters. Can he prove his worth again? Oh, you bet he can. I don't know where it's come from. For 4 months, I've not seen him do that dink finish once. He was always trying to blast it in the corner or at the keeper. And now, everyone, just a little dink over the keeper. It's lovely. Wonderful to watch, and maybe that's a sign his confidence is back. And if he's got that with his quality and his pace, it could be a big sign for us. We're making light work of the informed team here. As Harvey Lloyd has a free kick, outside of the post. Stunning work from the lad. Almost a cracker. Aberystwyth are leading again as well. As Walters gets on the end of a cross. Great ball in from Harvey Lloyd. It rattles the woodwork. Oh, he's confident, the lad now. We're really starting to find form. TNS haven't got the lead in their game yet. We could be extending our lead here as the cross is in again to Walters, who heads over. But it is dominance. It's utter dominance and brilliant play. But we need one of these sides to develop in Europe and really give us a bit of a challenge now. TNS did it for 3 years. Our lone player, Tony McLaughlin, scored again there. But they're just falling away and it's getting really difficult now because it's becoming a one-horse race again. We'll say we're pleased with the lads. We'll get into the second half. But I can see nothing but a comfortable Bangor City win here. We're 2-0 up and we look great. As Yesden Weaver's got a throw on the left to Walters. Flicks on which Dackers will clear away. Right in his 6-yard box there. Harvey Lloyd gives it to Malone and Yesden Weaver. Into McDonald at the back post. Fullback to fullback. It's a great save by Thomas Barker, but it's straight out to Luke Williams. And he taps into the empty side of the net and makes it 3-0 early in the second half. On a quick side note as we go to make our subs. Look at the battle of the Met Unis. Cardiff down at the bottom now. Swansea absolutely flying. We said they'd signed a couple of good players last season and they're coming into their own now. Let's go and make our subs though. Gwyn Morgan will replace McDonald, give him a little rest. Tom Jones I'm going to leave on for the 90. I'll bring on Cole Lacey in his place. He can play as the box-to-box, I think. I don't actually know which way round they're better. That way, apparently. So Tom Jones will play in the centre. And then we've got Martin Pasiarek as well. So Whittaker was struggling for fitness in the last game. I'm just going to give him a little rest. And there are two star defenders. They're the ones who have kept that defensive record all season. We need to keep them protected. And with a cup final next week, what more important time to do it? As Pasiarek gets it. A first chance for you guys to see him in action. Not quite grasped the Welsh language yet, but he'll be alright. And I'm presuming we'll probably be talking English here. As Walters gets in from the Weaver ball, it's the post again. Oh dear, how many's he going to miss? It's been a good performance in truth. We've looked vintage. 13 shots on target. The expected goals is 3.5. And again, if we take the chances, this could be a 5, 6, 7 or 8. As it is, Barry have now got a battle for 4th again. But I'm sure they'll have easier games than this, as Weaver picks it up on the left-hand side. Through ball to Walters. It's been a deadly combination all day down there. Walters beats his man, gets to the byline, chips it in towards Lacey, and it's cleared off the line as far as Harvey Lloyd. But with 5 to go, we deserve a 4th here. I'm not sure we're going to get it as TNS wrap up their game. But what a performance, what a result, and what an episode. We've just flexed our muscles and showed how good we are domestically. And the question now becomes who's going to catch up. And unless someone goes far in Europe, I don't think it's going to be anyone. So we're at that sort of sticking point next summer. We'll watch the European qualifiers with attention and then we'll make our next move after that. It might be a change of club. It might be helping out some of the other teams. But something has to change if it doesn't happen next season. Because TNS, after a close couple of years, just starting to drift down the table again. But let's focus on us for now. Let's have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. I'm guessing it'll be focused on Europe a little bit. Okay, so I was going to leave it till our last 16 game, but I think that'll probably be a little bit too soon. What I'm going to do then, I think, is go for Linfield in the semi-final of the SPFL Trust Trophy, unless we've got any changes to the schedule. Although if we get a massive draw in the last 16 in Europe, I might just come back straight for that. But at some point between Linfield and the Europa League second knockout round, we'll be back for a big episode with Bangor City as we start to face the bigger challenges from outside of Wales. If you're looking forward to that though and you did enjoy this episode, please chuck a thumbs up on the video. Thank you for following me along into the second 100 of this series. It really does make a big difference. If you want to stay up to date and find out how we get on when Europe returns, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on for daily FM21 content. We're going to have loads of action from live streams on Twitch next month too, so please do click the link in the description and go and follow us over there to stay up to date. And you can find the first ever full video on my food channel up in the eye above. I'd love your support with it. I'm really looking forward to making more. And it is football themed, the first video as well. Very, very loosely. So thank you for your incredible support as always. It is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you next time for more big action with Bangor City as we face opposition from outside of Wales, which I'm sure will pose a sterner test. Thanks for watching.